All right, we've made it to level 1B. This is basically the second half of level 1. Level 1 is actually the smallest of the 5 levels. Uh, Level 2, 3, and 4 have about twice as many problems as level 1. Level 5 has somewhere in between. So the bulk of the content is in 2, 3, and 4, which makes sense because those are, level 1 is relatively fundamental. Level 2, 3, and 4, where there's really a lot of topics to cover in a lot of interesting little ways. And level 5 shows a bunch of ideas that aren't super common at the bridge table. Um, so a little bit less content there. But yeah, about halfway through level 1. There are 30 problems in level 1B, which will probably do another 2 parts for probably 15 each for those. Um, I think I think typically the problems aren't quite arranged in what I would say difficulty order within a level, though the like roughly I think the later parts of a level do tend to get like a little bit trickier for that level, if I recall. But it has been a while, so we will see. Yes, I made no egregious errors in the first 36, so we'll see if I can make it through all the level ones. But all right, let's jump into this one. 103 now. So we have one spade winner. Nothing in hearts yet. 4 clubs is 5, and 4 diamonds is 9. Oh. All right, well, maybe this first problem isn't too hard. We have 9 top tricks, and we can just take them. Um, I guess given that it's the beginning of a new level, they're starting us off a little bit easier. I guess for a bit of historical context, when Bridgemaster was first made as Windows software, it just had 36 problems in each level, and then additional 30 problem packs got added to each level later on that you could buy separately. Um, and in fact, before they before they put all of Bridgemaster up on BridgeBase, I did buy every single CD, every expansion pack. So I have like I don't know, a stack of like 11 CDs or something that has all the Bridgemaster content. Um, Kind of fun historical objects now, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess given that this would be the beginning of a new CD, I guess I do have an easy problem to start with. Uh, and yeah, it doesn't get too much easier than here are 9 tricks that take them. The one danger it looks like they're trying to show in this hand is that they are giving you this chance to finesse in spades on trick 1, which could have some disastrous consequences. You might think it's kind of free because you have all these tricks, but if we let East get on lead by playing the queen and having it lose, they could lead through the king of hearts, and the defense could be in position to grab 4 heart tricks. One of them has at least 4 hearts, so hearts are 4 or 3 at best. So a pretty good chance if the spade finesse loses, they might take a bunch of tricks. I mean, you can obviously get lucky. Yeah, the finesse could work. The heart finesse could work. Really, you're only going to go down if both the king of spades is with east and the ace of hearts is with west. So, you can say it's only like a 25% chance. And at match points, that actually does sound like a pretty good reason to try one of these finesses out. You're only going to get punished if the honors are in the wrong spot and the defense, properly leads hearts, which they should. I think looking at this dummy, you should probably try to lead the heart next. Um, so at match points, yeah, it could be the right thing to try. But at imps, at Rubber Bridge, should you be playing Rubber Bridge in this day and age? We're going to take 9 tricks. So we'll start easy and just take some tricks. And not be drawn in by the siren song of the spade finesse. Like a good warm up, I guess. And I promise you that when we see all the hands, East has the king of spades and West has ace of hearts. Because that is how Bridgemaster rolls. Oops, sorry, that auction was 1 spade, 2 spade, 4 spade. Okay, 4 spades. We've got a lot of spades. We appear to have the top 11 spades. So I think no spade losers today. But we do have 3 heart losers and also 2 club losers. So that's 5 losers in a hand where we can only afford 3. So we better find a way of getting rid of some of them. And it sure looks like they're about to take 3 heart tricks right away. And that it'll be the club losers that we're going to lose. We're going to lose those losers. We're going to find a way to get rid of those losers, rather. How do we get rid of club losers? We can't ruff. There's no short suits and dummy. But we do have extra winners possible in diamonds. What's interesting to point out is that these diamonds aren't good yet. And also, we can't afford to establish them the quote-unquote normal way. Like, if we lost the king of diamonds to the ace, we would have 2 extra winners in diamonds. We'd have the queen and jack. That could drop 2 clubs. That sounds great. But if we've lost 3 hearts, we can't afford to lose a diamond just to set the diamonds up. So we'll have to try something a little bit different. Let's begin by, I presume, losing 3 hearts. That play is interesting. West plays the king and East plays the queen under it. This is a little bit of defensive tech to show that you have the jack of hearts. The idea there is that the hearts are so strong, like that you know partner has the ace when they lead the king, and you're looking at the queen. Like if they lead the king, you expect them to have the ace or the queen. If you're staring at the queen jack, you know partner has the ace. And you're not going to play more than 3 rounds of this suit in a suit contract a lot of the time. So you can afford to throw this queen under the king and say, hey, I have the jack. It's 100% safe for you to lead a low heart to my jack if you want me on lead for some reason. So East does a good thing by playing the queen of hearts. But it's a little defensive note here. Let's continue losing our hearts. Okay. And indeed, they expose our club losers right away by playing in club. We must win because we've already lost 3 tricks. So they've been pretty forced up to this point, but now we are free to actually try to get rid of these clubs using some diamonds. We can't afford to lose a diamond, so what we need to do is a roughing finesse. In a normal finesse, you lead a card towards strength, usually towards a tennis, or at least towards like 1 high card in the opposite hand. When we do a roughing finesse, we actually lead a sequence of cards into a void. So the idea here is we want to lead the king of diamonds, and if East has the ace and they play it, we will ruff, and the queen jack are good. If they don't play the ace, then we'll drop a club and repeat the finesse. So leading a sequence into a void is just as good as leading a sequence into a high card in the opposite hand. To do that, we're going to need to get into dummy potentially twice, because if we lead the king of diamonds and East does decide to cover it, we're going to have to get into the hand a second time. Luckily, there are a lot of spade entries here. We have, what was it, say 11 spades? 11 spades. So we can actually afford to play the ace first and see if they split 2-0 or 1-1. They're 1-1. And either way, we're going to have 3 entries into the north hand, so plenty of entries. All right. And then we do our roughing finesse by leading the king towards this void in diamonds, dropping a club when East doesn't play the ace. And then we can do it again. This time they cover. Our jack is set up. It does require that we have 1 more entry back to use the jack, but we do. And so we drop a club on the jack, making 4 spades. Yeah, I guess they didn't have any roughing finesses in level 1A. That's a good one to introduce here, because it is certainly a very common and fundamental technique. Pretty much the only way to establish a suit for no losers while missing an ace. Sorry, that contract again, just 106 now. All right, easy. All right, 6 now. We have 3 spade winners. We have 3 hearts for 6, 2 clubs for 8, and those are all of our top tricks. We will need 4 more tricks somewhere. Can't get any more spades or hearts. Diamonds, we could set up a trick, but even that would only bring us to 9, so we definitely need to get a bunch of club tricks. It looks like these clubs are good for a number of tricks. How many tricks do we need in clubs? If we have 6 tricks in the major suits, 1 trick in diamonds is 7. We would need all 5 of the club tricks. So we certainly saw some in the last video where there are some hands where you have an option for 5 tricks, but maybe you only try for 4. Here we actually do need the 5th trick, so it's worth counting out how many tricks you actually need from a suit to figure out how you're going to play it. With 9 cards missing the queen, the normal approach, also as we previously discussed, is to finesse. Or sorry, it's not to finesse. It's to just bang down the ace-king of clubs and hope that the queen drops either singleton or doubleton. Though any evidence that suggests that the queen is onside is usually enough reason to finesse. But this auction is not very telling at all, so no evidence at the moment. It's also, in general, if you can, slightly better to play one of those high clubs first. In case the queen happens to be singleton offside. You can protect yourself against that by playing the ace of clubs before you go and do the finesses. And it looks like we have plenty of entries to the north hand to play the ace of clubs and then go back there. Obviously, the opponents have just one fast trick available to them in the ace of diamonds. That's fine. I'm trying to think if there's any reason we can't just win this ace of clubs, back to the north hand, and take the finesse. Worth pointing out, you might need a couple entries to the north hand. You might need 1 entry to start the finesse after we take the ace of clubs, and then another entry to get back to the 5th club, potentially. Depending on if they... Like, if East had all 4 remaining clubs, they might take the queen on the last trick, and we would be blocked out of the 5th club trick unless we had an entry back. But we have plenty of entries. We will have to actually set up this diamond trick at some point. But given that we're not planning on losing any tricks until then, because otherwise we'd just lose ace of diamonds as well, we'd be down, we should be able to just do that at the end. Okay. I'll take us with the ace and leave all the entries we need to the north hand. So I'll play the ace of clubs first for safety. No queen is dropping. In general, it feels nicer to go over in hearts than in spades, because if we go over in spades, we leave ourselves only 1 spade stopper. Shouldn't actually be a problem on this hand, but on principle, it seems nice to leave as many stoppers in each suit as we can. Jack of clubs. Oh no, that's our first failure. Oh, do they actually want some kind of discovery play? Oh no. Alright, let me write down that I got one wrong. Okay, let me think about this a little bit more. So one line that I didn't talk about is, did I just like not pay attention? Sorry, my description of that was so bad. I even said it the right way the first time and then executed it entirely the wrong way. Let's entirely go back to the beginning here. We don't want to finesse in clubs. When we have 9 clubs, we do not want to finesse. In general, unless we get evidence to the contrary. That's what I said at the beginning, and then I went about finessing anyways and described how I was going to finesse. So yeah, let's not do that. Which actually makes this hand even easier than I first said. Because we're literally just going to bang down the ace and king of clubs. When we have 9 clubs, this is the right choice. Okay. I might even not write that one down as the wrong column, because I literally described the right thing and then went crazy afterwards. Just one little important thing here is we need to knock out the ace of diamonds before we play, for instance, all the spades or all the hearts. Otherwise, they could grab a trick in one of those suits. So we should just play the ace of, or knock out the ace of diamonds now, and now we're good to go. I'm gonna give myself a mulligan on that one because I did describe the right line first, and I just didn't do it. Actually, I do have this category in my the spreadsheet that I keep, which is called near correct. I'll put it there. I won't put it as fully correct. It's usually for like correct, but I did some silly mistake. So that's certainly what happened here. All right. Yes, 8 ever, 9 never. If you have no evidence to the contrary, missing the queen and 9, and you have the otherwise like good 9 cards, you should play the ace king for the drop. But it's about a 52% chance, 52, 53, versus a 50% finesse. So any evidence you have that the queen is on side is enough to, you should be finessing. All right, 6 spades. So we potentially have a spade loser. I will note that once again, we appear to have 9 cards missing the queen, so take what you will. We have no heart losers. We've got the ace queen to go with this king. No club losers, and 1 diamond loser that looks like we're about to lose. So it looks like this hand is going to be about just avoiding a spade loser. Take the ace of diamonds. Yep. And return a diamond. Oh, liking. There we go. So it looks like we're going to look at playing these spades in isolation. With 9 spades, banging down the ace king is the normal thing to do. There's one thing that's a little bit different here, which is that the ace and king are actually split between the 2 hands. So if spades turn out not to be 2-2, there's still some times we can succeed, even when the person who has... actually, what kind we can succeed on? If righty had all 4 spades, we could play the king of spades. We would find out that lefty had no spades, and we would be able to finesse twice against righty for the queen of spades. So we could pick up a 0-4 split in spades. That is 0 on the left, 4 on the right. If righty had 3 spades to the queen, could we ever find out in time? I don't think so. We'd play the king, they'd both follow. We'd play low from North's hand, East would follow low, and we'd have a guess, and the right guess would be to play the ace of spades. If lefty had all 4 spades, can we actually do anything about it? That would give them precisely queen 9, 8, 7. We'd play the ace of spades first. We'd play the jack. They'd cover the queen with the king, so jack, queen, king. They would still have the 9, 8 left. That would be a trick against our 10. So the spades aren't good enough in the north hand to pick up a 4-0 spade split with West. But yeah, given that we can give ourselves this little extra chance of a 4-0 spade split with East, we should play the king of spades first and not the ace of spades. That is my diagnosis here. And we have a bunch of entries to repeat the finesse because we got all these hearts. Oh, one thing I should note is I actually counted losers from the south hand. In general, we would count losers from the hand that has longer trump. In this case, it would turn out to be the same. Be the same 1 diamond loser, 1 possible spade loser. It turns out that dummy just happens to have more spades here. But through a Stamen sequence, we became the Declarer. Okay, so I'm gonna play the king first, and there we go. We are paid off. Lefty shows out, and now we are able to finesse against East. We will cross in hearts and finesse again. Technically, we could cross in clubs by playing ace king and a roughing a club winner, but that obviously is way more prone to getting roughed than a single round of hearts. Finesse again, and drop the king. Queen, rather. Okay. And all of our cards are good. Drop some winners on winners. My Kingdom for a claim button. Well, not like hiding in the menu, right? Yeah, they just didn't implement it in the BBO version of Bridgemaster. Woohoo! Oops. Get the auction. 206 now. Alright, we have 1, 2, 3 spades. 1, 2, 3 hearts is 6. 2 clubs is 8. And currently, no top tricks and diamonds. Extra tricks are not available in spades and hearts. In clubs, we could get up to 2 more club tricks, but we would have to lose a club along the way. And given that they've got the ace of diamonds out there, losing a club is not feasible. So we're going to have to get all of our extra tricks from diamonds. We have 8 tricks outside of diamonds, so we're going to need 4 tricks from diamonds. If we play diamonds for 1 loser, because we can't play it for 2 losers because we're in 6 now, we would actually have 5 diamond tricks, but obviously at that point we can't. We would have 13 tricks. We would already have lost 1. So basically, we just need to play diamonds for not 2 losers. And there's not a lot else to do in the other suits. And so our question here is, which finesse do we do? Is it a pure guess? Because we'd like to play the king. Play up to the king if lefty has the ace. Let's play up to the jack if lefty has the queen. In some similar hands that we saw in the last video, we tried to figure out some stuff from the auction. This auction tells us nothing. And I kind of doubt that playing out the other cards is going to tell us much either. We can't play all 3 spades, we can't play all 3 hearts, we can't play even 2 rounds of clubs, because then we would expose ourselves to another loser when we actually attack diamonds. So I don't think we're going to find out much. So is there a theoretically better, or theoretically best guess to make in diamonds, just in a vacuum? And so let's think about some options here. In general, if you only need one of these, yeah, I guess the one thing that's interesting is, so if righty has both the ace and the queen, then we are screwed. So that can't be the case. If the ace and queen are split, we do just have a guess. We just have to guess right. If lefty has the ace and we just play it to the king and it holds, if play it to the king and no honors appear, but the honors are split, then 1 more round of diamonds will knock them both out. If lefty has the ace and the queen, though, and extra diamonds, like ace queen third of diamonds, we have to play to the jack first. If lefty has, let's say, ace queen 5 of diamonds, if we play up to the king and lefty ducks the first round, then they'll have the ace queen as 2 more tricks. So to actually take advantage of lefty having the ace and the queen, we need to play it to the jack and not up to the king. So that's the case that really distinguishes whether you should play king or jack. Because when the honors are split, it's a guess. Okay. So having considered that, we're going to play to the jack. And it's fine if this loses to the ace, of course. We then need to get back and repeat the finesse. They can put in the queen, but we could capture that. And then we can knock out the ace. And we have the rest. Now that we've set up the diamonds, we can start throwing them away. Ace of king. And the red cards. This one, it might be interesting to look at how they describe it. I like seeing how they describe like possible card combinations. That should be pretty similar to what I said. After winning the opening spade lead, we must not lose your diamonds. Okay. When West follows low, we decide whether or not to play the king. The king succeeds. Yes, if East has a singleton queen of diamonds, that's true. Or a doubleton queen of diamonds, also true. If righty had 3 to the queen, we would have seen the ace already, so that's not a possibility. So doubleton queen, singleton queen are possible. Yeah, doubleton queen, I described that one, the honors would crash. Playing the jack succeeds whenever West has the queen. That's a good way of putting it. Whenever West has the queen with any length. So lefty, besides having doubleton queen, could have tripleton queen, could have 4 to the queen. Well, ace queen 4. And that's just more combinations than East could have with the queen. So there's a good way of describing why the jack is better. The king wins if East has singleton or doubleton queen. The jack wins if West has 2, 3, or 4 to the queen, which are that's just more combinations. Right. When you have a 9 card fit missing the ace and the queen, finesse against the queen, not the ace. There you go. Tips you can take to the bank. Six spades. Oh, I actually want to go to this auction. We had a strong jump shift. I'm like, this auction looks weird to me. What's happening? I'm like, how did South continue on after a 3 spade bid? But I forgot North actually makes a strong jump shift. So not very common nowadays, but they show a solid club suit with at least around, I'd say typically around like 15 or so high card points. But a lot of tricks in general, and so I mean this hand brings 7 tricks, which is very strong. Also, we have 2 card club support for that club suit, so the clubs ought to run. So we're counting a lot of tricks, like at least 6 clubs, 4 tricks here. North should have something on the side for that strong jump shift, and so we try for a slam. It's a bit old school, this bidding. Okay, 6 spades. We have a spade loser, and it is unavoidable. No matter how these spades are split, we are going to lose the 3rd round of spades. Assuming we played spades from the top, which we probably would. In hearts, we have a heart loser that we will have to avoid. In clubs, we're more than good. And in diamonds, we potentially have 2 diamond losers after beyond the ace. So we're not allowed to have any of those red suit losers because we need to lose a spade. How do we get rid of these losers? A diamond is ruffable, but only after first losing the 2nd round of diamond, so that's not okay. A heart is ruffable, but we also have a bunch of extra winners in clubs. and so many extra winners in clubs that there's really like 4 extra winners in clubs to take care of 3 red losers. There's not really any point in trying to rough a heart. Roughing a heart would involve playing out 3 rounds of hearts before we draw the trump. So we'd have to leave a spade in dummy. And that's an unnecessary risk. Though now that I say that, this lead does cause us a little bit of strife. Yeah, we'll have to sequence this carefully. This lead exposes our diamond loser. Left to our own devices, if we could, we would like to get rid of all the opposing trump before we start running the clubs. Because if they were to rough on the, let's say the second round of clubs, after we had no ace of diamonds entry, we'd lose our way back to the clubs. So ideally we would, like if they had a heart, for instance, we would win the ace of hearts, we would play ace, king, and another spade right away to get rid of that, the pesky last spade, so they couldn't take it at an inopportune time. And then we'd win any return, we'd go play a bunch of clubs. But here, now that they expose our diamond loser by playing diamonds, we can't go play ace, king, and a spade, because we have a fast diamond loser we would lose right away. So we'll have to do something a little bit different. We need to use the clubs. That's not an option. We can't rough a diamond, so we absolutely have to be using clubs to pitch diamonds. What can we do? We can play 2 rounds of spades. This will eliminate spades from one person's hand. Spades are, 3-2 or worse. If they're worse, we're down, so let's assume they're 3-2. So playing the ace and king will remove the spades from one person's hand. If the person who has the last spade is long in clubs, they won't be able to stop us from running clubs at them. Perhaps until it's too late for the defense. So we should be playing the ace and king of spades. And, ideally observing that spades are 3-2. Okay, cool. And now we can start attacking clubs. If they're able to rough on, the first, second round of clubs, we will have a problem. If they can rough on the third round of clubs, we'll have a problem. We need to get rid of these diamonds before this rough happens. Or the rough needs to happen while we're pitching the last diamond. Basically, there needs to be no diamond loser available when the person who roughs gets in. So that means we're going to need them to follow to at least 3 rounds of clubs. If they rough the 4th round, that's okay. On the 4th round, we're going to pitch the second diamond loser. If they rough that one, that's fine. They'll have no diamond to cash. Or there will be no cashable diamond. What then about the heart loser? If they actually do rough on the 4th round of clubs, it means we haven't actually used a club to get rid of the heart loser. But luckily, we have a spade left for that. And if they rough on the 4th round of clubs, then they won't have any spades to draw our last spade. And we'll be able to rough the heart loser. So it's important to note that as we're using these clubs, we should be pitching the diamond losers, not the heart loser. Because the heart loser does have a secondary method of getting rid of it. Okay, we follow 1 round of clubs, 2 rounds of clubs. Moment of truth. This person did not rough. And if they didn't rough, then it means that it looks like Lefty has 2 clubs left, and the last spade. So it looks like we're good to go. We pitch a diamond. Oh, sorry, one club left in the last spade. All right. And so they roughed while we were pitching that last diamond, but that's okay, because now their diamond counterattack is ineffectual. We've saved it just in the nick of time. And this is one of those examples of where we have to leave a master trump out. We can't afford to get rid of that trump. And in general, we do leave the master trump out. When there's only 1 high trump and the opponents are the ones who have it, we typically don't take it out of their hands unless we absolutely need to, because they might take it at the wrong time. Here we actually wanted to. There was some concern that as we run clubs, they might get in the way with that trump. But we couldn't afford to, so we had to let them have it. And so now we have to play hearts. We can't play spades. Gotta rough that last heart. And we're good. All right, 4 hearts. No particular interesting opponent bidding. Maybe I would note that West didn't overcall a spade. Okay, well, this lead solves any guess we might have in diamonds, but it also means that a ruff is very likely. So we'll see. If diamonds aren't 2-2, we may have some diamond ruffs. Well, if lefty has a singleton ace of diamonds, they're gonna have to switch. So let's see, where are the losers? So hearts are good. Spades, we have a loser. Diamonds, we might have 2 losers. And in clubs, we have 1. So there could be 4 losers here. And some, ruff is impending. Like, let's say they play ace of diamonds, and then they get a ruff. That would still be 2 diamond losers. How can we get rid of any of these losers? The club loser could be ruffed. It'd be on the 3rd round of clubs, but that could be okay. If we're going to get rid of a spade loser, it would have to be on some extra winners, which have to come from diamonds. We do have a lot of winners in diamonds. Let's see what happens here. I have a feeling a ruff is incoming. Oh, maybe we actually have an interesting choice here. If we play the king of diamonds and it gets ruffed, we'll sort of manufacture a 3rd diamond loser. Because now the queen of diamonds will be available. And that means we're going to have to lose that. Because we can't set up diamonds without losing that. This still could be okay. All 3 of our losers could come from diamonds. But I think what would happen here is we'd play the king, it would get ruffed. East returns a spade, which we have to win, exposing our spade loser. And now any attempt to set up diamonds lets them get in with the queen, and then they cash a spade. And that's 4 losers, and that's too many. If we don't play the king, play the jack or something equivalent, the worst case is that East wins the queen. But if they win the queen, that means diamonds were 2-2. And we don't have a 3rd diamond loser, and the diamonds are actually already established, and we're just totally good to go. If we play the jack and they ruff, then again the diamonds are actually still good to go, because it's just West left with the queen, and the king will drop it. So there are bad things that can happen when we play the king, and those bad things don't happen when we play the jack. They ruff. They do expose our spade loser. But the diamonds are actually totally good to go. While we could ruff a club, there's no point. We have 3 extra winners in diamonds, and we only need 2 of them to take care of the black losers. So let us just draw trump. No ruff necessary here. Hey, quick question, how many trump do the opponents have outstanding? Don't forget that they ruffed once. Though, if you do play one more round of hearts, it won't hurt you in this particular hand. And now we go and use all of these red winners. Pitch a spade. Pitch a club. Throw away the king of clubs and a winner for fun. And we're good to go. And in fact, we got an overtrick, which they won't let us take. Yeah, you can see how if we played the king, it would actually have been fatal here. They play ace of diamonds, they play a low diamond to the king and ruff, and now we're going to lose a 3rd diamond and a spade, because they'll return a spade, and we can't avoid 4 losers. So sometimes you get something that looks like a guess. This actually, what, or the kind of is a guess, right? It's like, does Lefty have the Queen of Diamonds? Sometimes we've seen that we've resolved guesses by looking at the auction, figuring out who has what. Sometimes you can resolve guesses because one guess is guaranteed to give you the contract, and one guess isn't. Sort of like, so if we guess to play the Jack, it actually doesn't matter who has the Queen. Either way works. This actually is a theme that does show up a decent amount, which is a finesse that you can take that if it loses, it means that the suit is splitting favorably. And so it can kind of be like a win-win finesse. This theme certainly will pop up in random spots. Alright, not the nicest hand for us this time. Though we are still declaring 4 spades. Okay. This is our first 7-card trump suit. Though it looks okay. We have the top 4 spades. As long as spades are 4-3, oh sorry, 3-3 or 4-2, will be good. But I mean, there's the potential for a spade loser. Though I sure hope not, because while we have no loser in hearts, we have at least 1 loser in club and 2 in diamonds. So we have like 3 unavoidable fast losers in clubs and diamonds. So I sure hope we don't have a spade loser. There are more losers. We could have 3 club losers, and we could have 3 diamond losers. So we just have to be a little bit careful about that. A diamond is ruffable. A club is ruffable. But a club isn't ruffable until the 4th round, and by that point, everyone's like, at least someone's out of clubs. And if we were to draw trump first, we wouldn't be able to ruff a club. So it looks like we will have to use some of these extra winners that are in hearts. We've got 3 extra winners in hearts. Plenty to drop some bad clubs on. Like dropping 2 clubs and a diamond. That would look good. We could win one trick in club with a king queen, drop the other 2 clubs and a diamond on the hearts, and we would have just 3 minor losers. Let's see how these first tricks go. First question, who has the ace of diamonds? And potentially, who has the king of diamonds? As usual, lefty is not underleading an ace, so east has the ace of diamonds. And the king is unknown. West would lead the jack from something like king jack 10, but would also lead the jack from just jack 10. So the king is an unknown quantity, but the ace is definitely with east. And they win the ace. And typically, defenders will win with their lowest equal. So we'd actually expect the king to be with west at this point. East would win with the king if they had the king and the ace. In general. Of course, there's always false carding, etc. The upshot of that is that playing the queen here is typically does not gain you anything. I'm trying to think, actually. If lefty has the king, they had king jack 10 at least, and it doesn't matter what you play. I guess in this case, playing the queen is probably the only chance of winning a diamond trick. Because it's possible that east has the king. Actually, is it? That would make their diamond lead very poor. If they had the king, they would know emphatically their partner did not have the queen, because they would have led the queen, not the jack, if they had queen jack. So I think we can be 100% sure that West has the king and also the 10, and so our play in diamonds is pretty moot. Alright, they get their 2 diamond tricks. And they're coming after our clubs. Alright, so, well, that's our fast 3 losers, as expected. And a club. Well, we better win this, because we can't afford a 4th loser. Okay. Um, I think the lesson they're probably going for here is just that while it's possible to like rough a club or rough a diamond, there's really no need to. We should draw the trump and just play all the hearts and pitch the back cards. It will take potentially 4 rounds of trump drawing. Let's do that. If we tried to rough, it would make drawing the trump awkward. All right, and then we just play the good hearts. So yeah, no need to do roughs if you have a clear source of extra winners. And yeah, some of the dangers possible were like if we tried to rough a third round of clubs, um, lefty would rough high with a 10, say, and we'd have to over rough them with the ace. And now their 9-8-5 is going to become a trick. We only have 1 card higher than their 2 high cards over here. So they would be able to kind of like uppercut us with the 10 of spades, and promote a trick with themselves. If we tried to rough the third round of diamonds, that would also get a little bit tricky. So we are able to rough it low with that 2 of spades, but then how do we draw the trump? We might need to play 4 rounds. So we play ace jack, and then we need a way back to our hand. And the only way back, or we could play a third round of clubs, but that would get roughed. We could try to rough some hearts back, but that would also get roughed. So it just makes it really awkward to draw the trump properly. And or we just promote tricks for the defense if we try to rough. So don't try to rough if you don't need to. Two clubs, 3 diamonds. Ah, a positive diamond response. Strong club. That's exciting. Yep, that's some good diamonds. All right, 306 now. Yeah, when you bring 4 tricks opposite the 2 clubs opening, which ostensibly has 4 losers or so, a slam is likely. All right, 6 now. We have 2 spades, 3 hearts is 5, 2 clubs is 7, 4 diamonds is 11 tricks. We need 1 more. What are the options? Nothing else coming in either red suit. We're getting all the tricks we can. In clubs, we could use a 3-3 club split. We could play, ace king and a club, or maybe a little better, we would duck the first round of clubs, and then play ace king in case they didn't split. Talked about that a little bit earlier in the previous video, I think. Also, we could get an extra trick in spades in a couple ways. The jack or the 9 could grow up. What is lefty leading from? This 4 is their lowest spade, so they should typically have some strength in the suit. Some partnerships lead low from 3 small here. There is a chance of this being a singleton. Uncommon at no trump. Probably not one of the leads they would give in this program, but it can be effective. So what should we play from dummy and from our hand? If we play low, East has to produce the queen or the 10. Because if they don't, the 9 just wins and we're done. If we play low and they play the queen, we're done. We can win ace king jack in this suit, or more likely ace jack king. And there's our 12th trick. So if we play low and East plays the 10, we win with the ace or king, and then we could actually set up a trick with the jack and 9 against the queen. We just play up to the jack and set up a trick. So we can actually guarantee ourselves a trick in the spade suit just by playing low here. No matter what East produces. So if they produce nothing, we win the 9. They produce the 10, we take the king and play another spade to the jack. If they produce the queen, we just take 3 tricks. Compare that to playing the jack. If we play the jack and they play the queen, and then we have to cover, we would still have like the ace 9 against the 10. If righty had the 10, we could finesse a spade towards the ace 9, or lead spade towards ace 9 and finesse the 9. But this lead suggests that lefty has some strength in the suit, like either the 10 or the queen. So that's not likely to actually work. So there's some chance for failure. Whereas, yeah, playing low here actually just guarantees the trick. And yeah, in general, if there's like they lead into some tennis in your hand, typically playing low from second hand is the right thing to do. All right, we win that. They only have the queen left, so we'll just knock it out. And now the king 9 are good, and that's all the tricks. No need to mess around in clubs at all. The slam contracts take longer to slog through. All right. Competitive bidding. 2 spades from righty, 4 spades from lefty. Let's just see that again. All right, the game forcing 3 hearts from us, and they'll partner compete all the way to 5 hearts if they're singleton spade. All right, this bidding may be relevant, worth keeping in mind as we take a look here. In particular, so we have 4 spades, they have 9. It looks like righty has 6 and lefty has 3. They should have 6 for this bid, and at least 3 for the raise, so we expect 3 spades with west, 6 with east. Okay. 5 hearts. Only 2 losers allowed. It's our first 5 major contract. Not a place we try to get to voluntarily if we can help it. We obviously are losing a heart. And it sure looks like we're losing the spade, and so those are going to have to be all the losers we have. We have 2 other spade losers to contend with. We could rough them. We could drop them on diamonds. We could drop them on clubs. Lots of ways to get rid of them. What's actually the point of this hand? I'm not actually too sure what they're getting at with this hand. It suggests a little bit of hidden danger, and I should think about it a bit more carefully. Nothing we can do on this first trick, so we don't need to worry too much about that. So a potential concern is roughs in clubs. The best way we can counter that is just by playing hearts as fast as we can. Like, if they rough this, we're down, so, yeah, assume they don't. Worth noting in particular that there's no need for us to try to rough these spades. There's so many extra winners in dummy that we don't need to bother roughing spades. We should just try to get rid of these trumps as fast as we can before a club rough happens. And a club rough happened. We're down. All right, I have some ideas. Let's redeal. Because it is certainly a danger. And it is a danger we can do something about. It's interesting. So let's start again. So we play a spade, and they play a club that we have to win. And there is some concern about this club switch. Like a club ruff is certainly a possibility. Do you see a way we can avoid this club ruff? We weren't able to play hearts fast enough to get rid of the trumps. But we can get rid of the clubs on dummies diamonds. It looks a little bit unnecessary, like we're throwing away some cards that weren't really losers. But note that if we do pitch all the clubs on dummies diamonds, no club rep is possible anymore. We can kind of protect ourselves with that by getting rid of these, non-losing cards. Does this come with its own risks? I mean, you could have a diamond ruff potentially, but not very likely when we only have 4 diamonds. So we would go, 3 diamonds, pitching these 2 clubs, and then we would start working on hearts. And we shouldn't actually have a problem getting rid of the spades. One concern I was thinking about is, it can't take us more than 3 hearts to get rid of all the hearts. We have 10. And is that a concern that if we use 3 hearts, then there's not 2 hearts left in dummy to ruff the spades? After all, we use all the extra diamond winners. But we'll still have extra club winners. In fact, we'll have 4 extra club winners because they don't have to cover any of the clubs anymore. And we'll have an entry to them because we'll have at least 1 heart left in dummy that we can use to ruff a spade. The club ruff is a pretty real threat. And a ruff in diamonds is very unlikely. So it is a very sensible thing to get rid of these clubs and avoid the club ruff. And now we go after the hearts. No club ruff is available. They can still play a club to knock out some of our extra winners like that. They only have 1 heart left. Sorry, they have no hearts left. I think they both followed suit, didn't they? It doesn't hurt to play a heart and find out. And now we can just ruff. And use an extra winner. Combine all the methods. All right. This one I will put in the wrong column. I did not describe this threat before it came up. I put that as that. I think this is the trixiest hand that I've seen so far in level 1. Because that is not a common thing. Pitching a bunch of clubs, pitching a bunch of 1 suit where you don't have losers, just to avoid avoid losers or avoid a ruff. All right, but a good show. Like the one concern that we really should see in this hand is the potential for a club ruff. As I said at the beginning, I didn't really see the danger, and I was suspicious about it. And I think in the previous video I talked about how if everything looks great, you should consider what goes wrong, or what could go wrong. And the club ruff is certainly what could go wrong, and we did have a way to handle it, and thus should have. Six now. Okay. We have 3 spades, 1 heart for 4 winners, 4 clubs for 8, 2 diamonds for 10. No extra tricks in spades, no extra tricks in diamonds or clubs. We're gonna need hearts. And so we have 10. We have 10 tricks. Sorry, well, 9 tricks outside of hearts. And hearts is the only suit where we can get more, so we're going to need 3 heart tricks. Um, this looks like a kind of finesse that, yeah, I guess also wasn't in earlier level 1, so a good addition uh, to level 1B. This is a kind of combination that newer players get wrong a lot. Um, you when you're doing finesses, you often feel like you shouldn't be losing tricks, and so it's super common for new players to lead the queen from this combination. Um, the idea is, you hope East has the king, and you run the queen past them. But if East does have the king, they're going to cover. It's going to go queen, king, ace, and then you can play the jack of hearts. And suddenly, even though your finesse was on side, you still only had 2 tricks. And you would have had 2 tricks if you just played the hearts brute force, just played them from the top. And the reason that this doesn't work, sometimes it surprises people, is why this finesse doesn't work, is the lack of something like the 10 of hearts to back this up. Some finesses, you play a low card towards some high cards, and some finesses, you play a sequence of high cards towards another high card, like in this case. If you're going to play an honor as part of your finesse, you need to be okay with it getting covered. And you need that not to promote tricks for the defense. So if we had the 10 of hearts, that would be fine. We could do this finesse that way. Without the 10 of hearts, and some trickier combinations where we have like a 9 or 8, with just low hearts, nothing to back up the queen jack, we should actually take the finesse the other way. Play the ace of hearts and lead towards the queen jack. This can feel a bit unnatural because you're giving them a free chance to win the king. But it means that when the king is on side, you actually get 3 heart tricks and not 2. And this time on side means West has the king. That's what we're actually hoping for. This version of the finesse where we lead the queen and East has the king and it gets covered, we might still recover if hearts are 3-3. We could still win the 4th round and get 3 heart tricks. But the version of the finesse where we hope for lefty to have the king doesn't care about the heart split at all. It also picks up singleton king with righty by playing the ace of hearts first. Which is not a benefit that you get from leading the queen. You can't pick up an offside singleton king that way. So yeah, the right thing to do here with these hearts is play the ace and then lead towards the queen jack. Don't lead a sequence for a finesse if you can't afford that card being covered. We need to get to our hand to actually do this finesse. We have a lot of entries in clubs. Ace of hearts. And up to the queen jack. Worth noting that you might need to do the finesse again if they don't take the king. So you do need at least 2 entries into the south hand. But in this case, we actually have plenty of entries. And indeed, lefty had the king. Hearts were in no way splitting. So, good thing we did the finesse the right way. Oh. Bridgemaster hitching. And let's throw a diamond, shall we? Let's not throw winners when we can't afford to. I like throwing winners away, but not today. Oops, missed the auction. All right, a bunch of bidding to get ourselves 4 hearts. We have no heart losers. We have potentially 3 spade losers, 1 diamond loser, no club losers. So 3 spades and the diamond is 4. We need to knock that down to just 3 losers. Are we going to lose 3 spades? I would say yes. As always, who has the ace? East has the ace. West is not underleading an ace out of suit contract. Especially not from ace-queen. What about the worst thing you could do? So for that reason, you should really not play the king here. It's probably not going to be the point of this hand, but you shouldn't play the king. There are ways to gain by not playing the king. Like if East had a singleton or doubleton ace, they might not actually be able to legitimately capture the king. Whereas if you just give up the king for free, then it's gone. So it is correct not to play the king here. Make them work for those tricks. Still don't play the king. All right. East did not have a short ace. So they get that. They're not putting us to the diamond guess right away, so all right. We're not allowed to lose this trick, so we better take it with the ace. So all of those plays basically been forced up until now. And we need to deal with whatever's happening in diamonds. So we need to not have a diamond loser. Certainly a finesse will be involved. We don't have nearly enough clubs to set up clubs for some kind of trick. Even if we did, pitching one diamond would not solve our problem. So it's going to have to be diamond finesses. Playing the ace of diamonds only works against a singleton king in either hand, which is not very likely when they've got 6 cards. Actually, how likely? Is it? Do we determine it was 15% last time for 5-1 split? 15%. Okay. That's 50% for 5-1 split, and only a sixth of that is a singleton king. So chance of a singleton king is like a 2.5%. I think we'll take some finesses. Of some concern is that as we play diamonds, a diamond ruff could occur. How safely can we take these diamond finesses? If we drew a bunch of trump, it would burn our entries to do the finesse. We might need multiple entries for this finesse. We're in the north hand now. We potentially have 2 more entries with the ace and king of hearts. So we would we can't just draw a bunch of trump and then come do the finesses because we very likely need to repeat it. If East has the doubleton king, 1 finesse suffices. If they have 3 to the king, we need 2 finesses. If they have 4 to the king, we need all 3 finesses. So we might need all 3 of these entries. So the rough or the diamond finesse is the safest is the first one. The first one, of course, is the least likely to be roughed. Actually, like a 1% chance of a 6-0 split. So we should definitely take a diamond finesse while we're here. All right, and it holds. Now, how safely can we do the next finesse? Given that we might still need 2 entries to the north hand for 2 more finesses, we shouldn't draw all the trump yet. But we could do is draw 2 rounds. 1 round that doesn't use an entry, 1 round that does use an entry. Now there's only 1 heart left. We should take another finesse again. So an option is to play the last round of hearts. Completely guaranteed there's no ruff. But that is putting all of our eggs in the righty having 2 or 3 diamonds exactly basket. And the chance of a second round ruff is pretty low. Whereas the chance of them having 4 diamonds is not at all unlikely. Those will happen, I don't know, 25% of the time that righty has 4 diamonds. Versus that the 5-1 split is less chance than that. So I believe it should be best to do another finesse now before we take the ace of hearts. There we go. Now we take the ace of hearts, drawing the last trump. And now we have a completely safe finesse. And we're good to go. So that's an interesting bit of sequencing, where we're going to kind of alternate back and forth between clubs and diamonds for maximum safety. You certainly might succeed on a weaker line where you do draw the trump first, or where you do maybe more finesses than you should have before drawing more trump. What we just did there is the safest approach. We take the 1 safe finesse, draw as much trump as we can. 1 more finesse, draw all the trump. 1 last finesse. So that's a fun bit of sequencing. 1 no, 2 no, 3 no. Oh, all his clubs look nice. That's 2 spades, 5 clubs for 7 tricks, and those are the only top tricks. We need 2 more tricks. Where are they coming from? A heart is a potential source of tricks. Is it a potential source of 2 tricks? And yes. If you want, take a moment to consider how you would play hearts to get 2 tricks. We are, of course, losing the ace. So what we need to do is not lose the king or the queen to the ace. So in hearts, we can actually finesse the 10. We can lead up to the 10. If that loses to the ace with righty, or if it holds, then we'll get 2 heart tricks. So we could get the extra 2 tricks in hearts. Diamonds, we can absolutely get 2 more tricks. We could get 3 more tricks, given enough time. So yet again, we have this trade-off between a suit that is guaranteed to provide us with all the tricks we need, but it's slower than a suit that might not give us the tricks we need, but is fast. If we go after hearts for 2 tricks, we only need to give up the lead once, when hearts work. We play like low to the 10, they take it with the ace. And the hearts are good. Diamonds have to give up the lead twice. And given that they're attacking these weak clubs, or sorry, weak spades of ours, we cannot afford to give up the lead twice. They're going to come after our first spade stopper before we come after their first diamond stopper. Then our second spade stopper, then their second diamond stopper, and then we lose. So there is not enough time to play diamonds. We need the 2 tricks from hearts. As I say, the way to do it is low to the 10. Low to the queen will just never work. If lefty has the ace, they won't play it when you play low to the queen. Very, very good defensive play to not play the ace. Whether or not they're holding the jack, they just won't play the ace. This will ensure that they can then capture a potential king that you have with the ace. So low to the queen will not work against competent defense. Actually, it probably working against any defense. Oh, well, sorry. If you play low and lefty plays the ace, I mean, we haven't actually decided whether we're going to play, or like we haven't committed to playing the queen or the 10 yet. So, they could pop the ace, so then you'd be good to go. But low to the 10 is correct. And whether or not it loses to the ace, as long as it doesn't lose to the jack, we're good to go. Alright, we have our 2 heart tricks. We'll just need to untangle them because the suit is blocked. Let's play all of our clubs, and then we'll be in our hand to play the king of hearts. Nine tricks. Alright, 4 hearts. This looks like a nice hand. And Dummy's got some useful diamonds. Alright, we have no heart losers. We have 3 spade losers, and it looks like we're about to lose them. And in diamonds, we could technically have a diamond loser. The king-queen only cover 2 of the 3 small diamonds. Though with 7 diamonds, for the 5th round not to stand up, they would have to be split 5-1 or worse. So that's not super likely. But it could happen. And in fact, that looks like... actually, that's not the only bad thing that could happen. Diamonds are also blocked. If we want to take the top 4 diamonds, we would need to take the king-queen and then get back to our hand. And getting back to our hand might be a little bit interesting. Because if we do the safe thing of drawing trump first, we won't have a trump entry back to our hand. But we should be able to ruff a club to get back to our hand. In that case, I think, the danger is 5-0 diamonds. If diamonds are 5-0, then we'd have to play spades before playing diamonds. Or sorry, play hearts before playing diamonds. Because otherwise it would just rough the first round. And we would find out they were 5-0 as we played the first diamond. We would not be able to rough our fifth diamond because we had to play the hearts first. Can we handle 5-0 diamonds? So let's imagine when we play a diamond to the queen, it turns out that they're 5-0. We would need some way of getting rid of the last diamond. Extra winners can be built up in clubs through a roughing finesse, but we would need 3 total entries to the north hand. 1 to run the queen, which could then get covered. We go back, we run the jack, which then might get covered. And then we need a 3rd entry to actually use the clubs. And we just don't have 3 entries. My inclination at the moment is we can't actually handle 5-0 diamonds. Even if we took like an early view of no, we just can't get to that hand early enough to rough to set up clubs. So I think what we should do is be careful about 4-1 diamonds. Because certainly one way you could play the diamond is like low to the king, overtake the queen to get back, and then play the jack. But you'd only play 3 top diamonds in that case, because you'd burn 2 of them on 1 trick. And you'd only succeed against 3-3 diamonds, not against 4-2. So we should be careful to handle 4-2 diamonds. And it looks like that should be fine. We just rough a club. Yeah, I'm a little bit suspicious that I might be missing something here. In any case, they're going to grab their first 3 spades. We'll see if there's any interesting development. And they play a club. Okay, maybe a concern here is if we rough this, as we must, I doubt East is unwilling the Ace King of Clubs. If we rough this, and hearts turn out to be 4-1, it would take all of our hearts then to draw. We would rough this, play 4 rounds of hearts, and now we actually can't rough a club to get back to our hand after playing King Queen of Diamonds. So that is a concern, which I potentially have a way to alleviate. If we play the King Queen of Diamonds now, oh, sorry. If we play the King Queen of Diamonds, am I counting these right? Sorry, am I talking about 5-0 diamonds in a suit where we have 7 cards? That's not very sensible, is it? I mean 5-1 diamonds. So 5-1 and 4-2 are the interesting splits. I said we couldn't handle 5-0. Doesn't exist. We also can't handle 5-1. The split that does exist. So I think we already have to assume that diamonds are not 5-1. And if we assume they're not 5-1, it's safe for us to cash the King Queen of Diamonds now. If we cast King Queen of Diamonds now before we play hearts, then we can actually play hearts ending in our hand, and we can still take advantage of diamonds being 4-2. That sounds like the right approach to me. Technically, we could afford to play 2 rounds of hearts before we play the King Queen of Diamonds. I don't think there's actually any layout where we gain on that. Like, if diamonds were 5-1, which is what we would be hoping to protect against by playing hearts first, we already can't handle it. So it might feel like it's the right thing to do to play 2 rounds of hearts before playing diamonds, but I don't think it makes a difference. Put my money where my mouth is and just play 2 rounds of diamonds. Alright, let's play the diamonds now. That way we can end in our hand with access to the diamonds as we draw Trump. Trump's splitting 4-1. They are indeed, because it's Bridgemaster. And I bet you the diamonds are also splitting 4-2. Indeed they are. So this play was necessary. So this hand's a little involved. Again, another little bit more involved one for level 1. And it comes to a point that I made, I think, early in the first half of level 1A, which is at least considering the splits that are one worse than ideal. So not just assuming that diamonds are 3-3, but concerning yourself with what happens if they're 4-2. Because that is actually the most likely split. 4-2 is like 50%. Or more? No, it's like 48%. So yeah, but it's about half. It's only 36% for 3-3. So very, very much behooves you to consider non-ideal splits, especially when an even number of cards are missing. Alright, that's probably the last one for this video. This is the first half of level 1B, which has 30 problems. 206 now. Alright. 3 spades, nothing in hearts yet. 1 club for 4, and 3 diamonds for 7. Alright, not a lot of the 12 tricks we need. We are certainly losing a heart now. So we're going to have heart set up. Assuming they take this first heart. There's no choices to be made yet, so... Alright. They take the first heart. And they play a heart. In general, usually you're planning at trick 1. When there is literally no possible difference between your plays, yeah, maybe you push it off a little bit to see what happens. It's probably better just to be in the habit of planning at trick 1. Okay, so we're going to have 2 heart tricks here in total. The one we've just won plus the queen. So that's 3 spades, 2 hearts is 5, the club is 6, 3 diamonds is 9. There are no more tricks available except in clubs. So we're going to need to play these clubs for no losers. We don't need 5 club tricks. We just need 4 club tricks. But, I mean, if you play it for no losers, you're going to get 5 club tricks that you just can't use. So, missing the king, the jack, and the 9. How are we playing these clubs for no losers? A fun time. It's one of those combinations where it's less about what can go wrong and more about what can go right. Let's see, what are some things we could hope for? Singleton king. Let's say you play the ace and a king drops singleton. That means somebody has jack 9 small. If righty had the singleton king and lefty had jack 9 small, that would not be good. They would win that jack. We could play the queen, and then, yeah, they'd win the jack. If lefty had the singleton king after he played the ace, righty would have jack 9 small. That would also be a problem, because if we played low to the queen, they would just play low, and they would win their jack. Or they would stick in the 9, I guess, and they'd win the jack. If we played like the 10 of clubs, they'd play the jack. If we go 10 jack queen, then they'd win the 9. So singleton king isn't actually a good thing to hope for. It doesn't help. What about a singleton jack? So in particular, let's imagine righty with a singleton jack. Then we have a somewhat unusual form of finesse. We would play the queen from our hand. And normally that would be really bizarre. We already talked about how playing, the queen from queen jack might not be a good finesse because you don't have the 10 to also back it up, and if it gets covered, it's bad. Here it's even worse. The queen doesn't even have the jack to back it up. But if the jack falls when we play the queen, that's as good as having the jack. So if East had the singleton jack, we could run the queen. If lefty covered, it would go queen, king, ace, jack. We would have the 10-8 over lefty's 9 to finesse. So that would work. If we run the queen and lefty doesn't cover, we still squish the jack. And now we have the ace 10 over the king 9. And we can still do this finesse. I forget exactly what this kind of finesse is called. I often used to call it an intra-finesse, but I feel like an intra-finesse maybe has is slightly different. Not that the exact wording matters. There's also a thing called a backwards finesse, which maybe that's what this is. I feel like I want to get the terminology right. Let me see. I feel like an intra-finesse involves finessing in both directions. Like you finesse, like I lead the queen, and then I lead back towards my hand in some way. I forget which one's which. I will let some pages load while I think about this. So that, in any case, that's one option. Is Singleton Jack with East gives us a way to play this for no losers. Singleton Jack with Lefty is a non-starter because East has a guarded king, and we can't do anything about that. A 2-2 split doesn't look like it could help us in almost any way. We bang down the ace first, someone would have a king. If we played the queen, either lefty would cover and would have a winning jack, or lefty would cover and righty would have a winning jack, or righty would just have the king. So the only layout I see where this can possibly work is righty has the Singleton Jack of clubs. This finesse could potentially require one more entry to our hand if the queen gets covered. But we've got plenty of entries. We also need entries to the north hand to take the winning clubs, but again, plenty of entries. All right, queen, king, and let's hope for ace, jack. Ace, jack. That's what we're looking for. And under the assumption that righty would not have played the jack when it would have been the setting trick, we will now finesse against the 9. And there we have it. The one layout that I can think of at least where we can not lose a club trick. Bam. Now what can we throw away? Let's throw that winner today. King and a queen. And overtake some more for fun. All right. That's a fun one to end on, because that is an exciting form of finesse. And the 2 pages I tried to load, they did not load. Intra-finesse. Where's like Wikipedia when you need it? They say intra-finesse involves a second round pin. What we had was what I think we would call a first round pin. Wikipedia lists both of these, backward and intra-finesse, under complex finesses. In the backwards finesse, player comes first with a higher card by means of a high leading finesse, then finesses against a card in a lower suit. Okay, yeah, this was not a backward finesse. I think this is the intra-finesse. Oh, maybe it's not that either. I don't remember what the terminology is. I still suppose the the solution talks about what they call this. What happened there? Oh, there we go. Let's see if they have a name for it. Not that it needs a fancy name. The point is to just find literally the only layout that works. All right, take the ace and continue hearts. South must play the club suit for no losers. Oh, yeah, and they agree. There's only one distribution of clubs and only one play in that suit that will allow clubs to be picked up without loss. We need that Singleton Jack of clubs. And we need to pin it by playing the queen. Yeah, the first play is low. We just finesse against the king 9. And if they cover, as they did in the hand as it was, then we come back to finesse against the 9. All right, they didn't give it a name. I'm not quite sure what you call it. All right, but yeah, that's a fun card combination. that's definitely an exciting card combination for level 1. Level 2 has quite a lot of interesting single suit card combinations that require some thought. I wouldn't be surprised if this turns out to be the most exciting single suit card combination we get in level 1. But yeah, interesting one because you have to consider what you actually hope for. And hoping for a singleton king certainly sounds nicer than hoping for a singleton jack. So it takes a bit of consideration to see how a singleton king just can't work. And we actually need a singleton jack instead. It tends to be in cases where you have a bit of a desperate suit, where you do this kind of, I guess I'll just call it a pinning finesse, where you lead an unsupported honor, hoping to pin the honor below it. Pin in the sense of just like forcing it to drop singleton. Because if it drops, it's as good as having it. It will still promote, the 10 in this case. All right, as the first half 15, I did have, I guess, my my first one that I marked as near correct. I gave the right line, but then didn't execute it in the slightest. And the first one that I have marked as wrong, where I failed to protect against that club ref. All right, definitely a couple trickier ones in this second half of level 1, compared to that first one, which was dead easy. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll come back with the second half of level 1B, the last level 1 problems, later on.